I think so. I'm not hearing an echo of myself, so that's good. I guess I need to go to YouTube. Okay. Do I go to the video manager? Okay, that worked. So where did that take me? Oh, I need to mute that. Okay. That could have been awful. Let's do this thing. And that's saying something. I'm doing fairly well. How about yourself? Awesome. So if you just all of a sudden just double over and disappear out of the screen, I'll know what's going on. Yeah, I have the video feed on. I don't know. Start talking. Yeah, I have the video feed on. Yep. Wait, no, wait. No. Yep. Geekvice, the home of technical difficulties. I don't know why you said that. Nobody cares.
Start the video yet. Okay. Now, let's see if we can hear myself talk. Okay. Now, let's see. Yep, we can hear myself. All right. We are good to go. We got volume. How about we try this one more time for all those folks at home? We'll start
Yep, I
in.
got you.
All right, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to Geekvice, try number 2 of episode 144, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph, that man's Kip, I suck at producer, so welcome to the world of technical difficulties. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening. Yeah, it's weird. Well, first of all, we have to thank Google Plus for getting rid of Hangouts on Air and causing us all these problems.
Yeah,
And the second is it's weird being the one on the other end because you play the opening stuff and I can't hear it.
oh, you can't hear that?
No, so I have to just trust it's working.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I'm telling you, once I get this soundboard thing situated, I've got a soundboard program for any of those out there that have virtual soundboard experience. I'm trying to use Voice Meter Banana, which, from what I've been told, is a really good um, podcasting soundboard. It's good for virtual inputs, and um, so I'm trying to use that as a mixer to bring in a soundboard, and so that I can play the stuff that I play on my end. I can play it through Skype so that Kip can hear it, and apparently right now he cannot. So we ran into some problems earlier in the stream, which caused all these other problems because mics and such stuff weren't set up right. So I had to close up that program because there was echoes, and nobody wants to hear two of themselves. So
I
um,
usually don't even want to hear one of myself, but
yeah. So I'm still trying to figure that out. If anyone out there listening to this has some experience with the fuck, I forgot what Voice Meter Banana, the Banana program, please reach out to me at geekvice@gmail.com, and maybe you've experienced these problems and you can help me fix them.
and if you
So
have experience with bananas, send pictures.
that's
Um,
just weird.
yeah, you're welcome.
So, Mr. Kip, how are you doing other than having to fix your car?
Well, other than being $2,000 poorer, I'm doing all right. Um, yeah, that just was one of those things. Is like, hey, the car's acting weird. I'll just take it in and see what it is, and then it ended up being like four things. So when your car has 219,000 miles on it, you just expect these things to happen.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, luckily, knock on wood, I haven't had too many problems yet, but I know they're gonna come down the road eventually. So,
Yeah, no pun intended.
yeah, hey. So, other than fixing your car, what have you been playing? A little bit of Dark Souls 3?
I have been playing some Dark Souls 3.
So,
So
before you start with that, have you played Dark Souls 1 and 2?
I have played Dark Souls 2.
Does it matter if you've played Dark Souls 2 before you played Dark Souls 3?
Actually, it doesn't, because honestly, it feels like the exact same game. Um, and that game it's kind of a D&D feel. It's an RPG, and you just die a lot.
Yeah.
It, you know how a game starts out and the first part of it is always you go and you click on something and it tells you how to work the controls.
Right.
Like these button pushes allow you to do this. So the first 5 minutes of the game, you're doing that, and there's some things for you to kill and stuff like that, and it's like awesome. And then you get to this one part, and and when you basically finish a level, I guess you could call it, you light a bonfire.
Okay.
Once you've lit the bonfire, you can either rest at the bonfire, which um, not refurbishes, refreshes. There's the word. Certain possessions that you have, like healing type potions. Yeah, you start off with. I chose the knight, so I started off with three, and as you're using the button pushes and all that stuff, and you're fighting people for the first time, you end up using one or two of them.
Right.
You light the bonfire, you rest, they're refreshed, and then you go on and you do some things, and then you get to the first boss. So this is like 10 minutes of game time, and now you're facing the first boss, which is oh so much fun. I say that I don't know if you picked up on the sarcasm, but it's there. I finally did beat the thing. I'm going to go ahead and say that now.
Nice. You
Yeah.
did finally beat the boss, because I know you were telling me earlier today that you hadn't even gotten past that first boss yet.
Yeah, I didn't until today, until this evening. Um, Dark Souls, everything you read online is true. You're just going to die a lot. You're going to get frustrated until you kind of figure out the trick to beating certain things. And this one, I can't even. I can't tell what the first name is. It's kind of weird. I can't tell if it's an I or an L,
Okay.
but you get through there and you fight this damn thing. And the first couple of times, I don't even know if I hit it once, and I was dead. And it's like, oh, awesome. That was nice. Um, so it's like, well, okay, I totally screwed that up. He's called if that's an I, it's Iodex Gundyr.
Well, that's a mouthful.
Yeah. And if it's an L, it's Ludex Gundyr. But you walk in, it's just basically like this thing with a sword sticking in it. You pull out the sword, fight is on. And the trick is you got to get behind the guy and stay behind the guy, just keep stabbing him in the ass, basically.
Oh, you know what? I think I've seen somebody play that in the like when they were going through the review. Like sometimes I'll watch the video reviews on IGN, and they always have like gameplay in the review, and I'm pretty sure the entire review was just fighting that last guy or that boss because he kept
Yeah.
trying to run behind him.
Yeah, and I bet I faced him 25, 30 times before I finally beat him. So the moral of the story is if you're one of those people that just wants the game to be fairly easy, maybe somewhat of a challenge, but you want to be able to move through it, this game is not for you. If you're a gamer who can't dedicate a lot of time to the game to get better at it, the game is not for you. But if you like a challenge, it doesn't bother you that you die a lot. The game is a lot of fun. It's an RPG. You level up like you would in D&D. You collect souls. I guess like in D&D, like you'd collect gold, really.
Right.
And you can level up. You can find new weapons and spells, and you can meet people and talk to them and all this other stuff. So it's a lot of fun in that aspect. But the main thing I want to just get across is if you're a casual gamer, you may not like this game. It just may be too frustrating. Um, Saturday night, I was like, I'm just gonna play this until I beat the damn thing. And finally, it's like, all right, I am actually really tired of this fight because not only do you lose and you die and you have to face him again, that's not a big deal, but you have to go all the way back to the bonfire and then fight all the people leading back up to that. And after a while, you're like, can we just skip this part of it and just go right back to fighting the boss? And honestly, that's you get to that point, and finally, I was just got to the point where it's like I took the shortest distance from the bonfire to where this gun deer is, and just battle after battle after battle, and finally, I took the thing down. So I first started playing the game Friday. I probably played an hour or so on Friday. Saturday, I probably played another hour, hour and a half. Probably played an hour on Sunday, and then played an hour this evening. And I finally, after all that, I beat the damn thing and got to move on to the next level. So if you're like me, you have a real job and you can't sink a ton of time into it. Oof, I would hesitate to spend the money on this game. But if you're like me and you see a, a just a real challenge and you won't give up until you beat that challenge, then the game is for you because you will get lost in trying to figure out how in the hell do you beat this guy without
Nice.
getting on the internet and saying how the hell do you beat this guy to Google,
Right.
figuring it out on your own. There is some feeling of, oh, I did it myself. And
Nice.
finally I did. I just, after a while, you get fairly good at a certain maneuver, and I got good at the where you just kind of dive out of the way and kind of tumble.
Yeah.
I would just do that in circles around the guy till he took his two swings at me, and then when he stopped, I'd stand up and stab him in the ass a couple times, and then start doing the tumbling again. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. But there was a couple times this weekend it was almost like I am never playing this game again. But I finally just sucked it up and finished it off, at least the first boss off anyway. So just a word of warning: you don't have that kind of time or you don't have that personality, do not spend the money on this game. You'll end up just walking outside and throwing the disc as far as you can.
Which is what Kip almost did.
It was close. It was close, but the graphics are fantastic. The story, they don't tell you much. You get this opening cutscene, and you can kind of tell that this gigantic. In fact, he's called something giant. I can't remember what
Yeah.
his name is. Um, he rises from the ashes, and you're like, all right, now I know. At one point, I'm going to have to beat this guy, Yorm the Giant. That's Yhorm, Yorm the
You're
Giant.
nice.
Starts off in the opening cutscene, and you're like, okay, at least I kind of have an idea of what I'm supposed to be doing. And then you can't even beat the first boss. Yeah, yeah. But it doesn't tell you anything other than, hey, there's these people walking through the desert. One of them dies from pure exhaustion. They kind of some lady's narrating and kind of speaking. I think she thinks she's telling you everything you need to know, but it's kind of cryptic. And then Yorm the Giant shows up and starts yelling, and then time to play the game. So you're like, well, I guess I have to beat him. Why? Still not 100% sure, but what the hell? Let's go.
Nice. Yeah, I that's not a game that I have ever put on my radar. Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3. I do kind of like the hack and slash games like that, but I'm also one that I don't I don't like losing, and so dying doesn't. It takes a certain type of mentality to handle the kind of the what are they called, roguelike games, where the idea is that you're going to go through the same level over and over again, but you're going to die and then you go back and do it again. Rogue Legacy is one on Steam that's a big hit. So is something with Isaac, some name with Isaac in it. Um, it's a those type of games. They've never been a fit for me. I've never seemed to enjoy them quite as much as some people. But yeah, you got that going for you. Well, while you've been playing that game, did you happen to notice, or did you happen to remember that this last week was the first week of some of the uh, new television? Fall TV is back. The,
I was too busy dying to really notice.
yeah, some of the new shows have started back up, which is kind of cool, and I didn't realize it. I did start this weekend. I decided I had some time on Sunday. Saturday was full of sports events, whether it was professional or my kids playing. And so Saturday I didn't have a whole lot of time to do much of anything, and actually fell asleep while watching the Sporting Kansas City game, which does not normally happen for me.
That does sound odd for you.
Yeah. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started last week. I haven't seen the episode yet. NCIS Los Angeles, and The Blacklist are shows that are on my list that have already started up. So the fall shows are coming. So for those of you that don't have regular cable providers like myself, you gotta kind of catch on to some of these things. I didn't realize it until I was watching the Chiefs game on Sunday, and I started seeing commercials for some of the shows on CBS that I like to watch, and they were saying they were starting, Sunday night, or they were, uh, season premiere, coming up for a new show, and I was like, oh, I should go look and see when all these other shows start. And like, oh, hey, guess what? Arrow and The Flash are going to be starting up here next week. Yeah, the 5th for Arrow and the 11th for The Flash. So I guess those are about a week apart. Legends Tomorrow starts up on the 13th. So super cool that those shows are starting back up. I have parsed down my list of shows to watch down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 shows right now. Two of the shows that I really wanted to watch have been either canceled or aren't starting until after the winter break. So one of the shows that I'm really looking forward to a second season for is Into the Badlands. That was really fun. Um, Kind of alternate reality, feudal Japan type thing. It's kind of a mix between feudal Japan and like the 50s maybe. So they have cars, but there are no guns. Everybody uses swords. And the area is broken up into houses. So you have, I think it's 7 houses in the Badlands, and they kind of work together, but they only work together because they have to, type thing. It is a really good show. I really enjoyed it. Second season doesn't start until after the first of the year, so that's one I don't have to worry about right now. The other one that I was really upset with got canceled, and I didn't realize it got canceled until I started looking to see when the second season started, and that was Limitless. That show was the sequel to the TV or to the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper, and Bradley Cooper actually had appearances in the TV show as well, and it was really good. It was really fun to watch, but for some reason, it did not get picked up. Um, I think it was CBS was the channel it was on. It didn't pick it up, and then they tried to bring it to Netflix, and Netflix actually turned it down, saying that the storyline was too complicated. So
Hmm.
Was a little interesting, but
That is pretty wild.
I didn't think Netflix would want to turn down stuff like that. And too complicated. I mean, shit, if you watch half the stuff on Netflix, I mean, fuck, House of Cards is extremely complicated.
Oh yeah.
So, whatever. But that's a bummer that that one's not back. So, I lost a couple of shows there. But still planning on watching The Blacklist, The Flash, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Legends of Tomorrow. Um, those shows are still on my list. Supergirl is not on my list, but that's partly because I haven't finished the first season yet, so I don't know if I want to watch it. Um, Legends of Tomorrow actually got a lot more fun towards the very end of the first season, and I'm kind of curious to see where they go with this second season. That one might not stay on my list. Gotham did not make the list, though. Um, I watched the first couple episodes of the second season, and I wasn't feeling it. That show just does not work for me, for whatever reason. So
Hmm. Yeah, Blacklist is on my list. Actually, we did watch the first episode. It's just as good as it's always been. I did pick up a new show, Son of Zorn.
Son of Zorn.
Uh huh. Where I think it came on last night, but we DVR'd it, watched it tonight.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a sitcom. Everybody's live action except for Zorn. He's a cartoon
Okay.
character.
Oh,
He's
I think I've
animated.
seen commercials for this.
Yeah, he's voiced by Jason Sudeikis, and basically, um, he's got a teenage son. Uh, he and his wife are divorced. She's got a fiance. Um, he's a barbarian, basically, so not really climatized to society, if you will.
Right.
It's pretty funny. The first episode was pretty good. I'm curious to see where they go with it.
Well, that's cool. Well,
Yeah.
and do you know what comes out here in 4 days? 4 days from when we're recording this. So if you're watching this in the future, um, then you should be aware that this might already be out. September 30th is Luke Cage on Netflix.
Luke
It
Cage.
drops the whole thing. I saw a new trailer on Facebook. I had to share it to our Facebook page, so go check it out on geekvice.com. No, facebook.com/geekvice. That's what you need to go to. Facebook.com/geekvice and check out the trailer for Luke Cage. That show looks so awesome, and I'm a little bummed because I'm going to be out of town on the 30th through the weekend, so I won't get back until Sunday. But I know Sunday night I'm gonna be watching Luke Cage. So
Yeah, I watched the trailer just before we came on air, and it's like, wow, yeah, that's gonna be good.
yeah,
That's gonna
that
be
just looks
really
awesome.
good.
That looks awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, yeah, one other shout out that I want to give is for a program, an app for your phone. It is called Legendary Randomizer. So if you've heard us talk about the Upper Deck game called Legendary, Marvel deck building game, and this there's an app on there. So Legendary, it's a deck building game to where, and it's got a bunch of different expansions out there. There's tons. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different expansions for it. We only have the base set, but um, basically the way it works, you have villains, you have heroes, you have masterminds, and you have schemes, and all of those go into playing the game. We've talked about playing it before, but you you have to parse down the number of cards that you have to the right number. So you have to randomize, or you can pick out the cards that you want. Well, it's kind of boring when you just pick out the cards and you know what's all going to be there and you know how it all plays, and it doesn't. Sometimes it can get a little old, especially when you have your 7-year-old pick out his favorite 5 superheroes to play with. So I told him we had to randomize it, and I had found this randomizer on. See if I can get it to not be, although it's backwards for everybody. Um, but it allows you to pick the expansions that you have, save your preferences, and then you can put in here the number of players, and you can either go ahead and pick your mastermind and your scheme, or you could just tell it to do random. Say generate deck, and it gives you. So here I did the mastermind random and the villain random. The mastermind is Loki. The scheme is unleash the power of the cosmic cube. Tells you how many cards you need in the villain deck. It says the henchmen are the Doombots. Villains are the enemies of Asgard and spider foes, and the heroes are Black Widow, Captain America, Cyclops, Spider-Man, and Storm. All right there on my fancy little phone. So it made it a lot easier to go through, and I hit random on it, and I handed my phone to him, and while I was finishing cleaning up the kitchen, he was able to go set up the cards and put it all out there, which I just thought was super super cool. So
That's pretty cool. Plus, I like it when they add technology to a board game.
yeah.
If you do it correctly, it's a lot of fun. Um,
Well, and what was it? Thunderstone that you and I played. That was a deck building game,
yes, it was Thunderstone.
and that one had kind of a randomizer. You could randomize it too and just pick stuff out. That would be kind of a cool app to have for that one, where you could just hit okay, pick my village, pick my heroes, and and then you just have to go find the cards that you need and lay them all out instead of you having to randomize them
Yeah,
manually. So it's a nice little helper. I kind of liked it.
I think that's pretty cool. Like I say, you mix the technology with a board game, you do it well. It just enhances the experience instead of taking away from it.
Yeah.
So I'm always good with that.
Agreed. So the big news that we didn't get into last week, which we have plenty of time to get into this week, is the news from Xbox, from Microsoft, and from Sony. Microsoft has started their Play Anywhere campaign. And the Play Anywhere campaign is basically telling you that, and I believe the first game that fell into this is Recore, but you can purchase it through the Windows Store, or you can buy it on for Xbox One, and you can play the game on either your your PC or your Xbox One. Doesn't matter which one you bought it on; it's playable through both. Which I thought was a neat idea until I actually started looking into it a little bit. The well, first of all, even though I have a fairly decent computer, my computer will not run Xbox One games. Apparently, my specs are not nearly good enough, or at least the ones that I was looking at. Also, the games are kind of expensive still. You're still looking at $60. And yeah, you get to play it on both, but I have a hard time now that am playing most of my games on PC. I had a hard time doing that because I could just wait until the game is ported to the PC and I get it through Steam, and I might be able to get it for $30 or $20, or I wait a little longer and I might be able to get it for 5. So it's kind of hard sell for me. Um, there are some updates that you've got to get. You got to make sure that you've got the Windows 10 update, which apparently I didn't have at the time of looking at this last week. I haven't looked to see if it's on there now. But there is a update for Windows 10 to allow that functionality to play, but you could still purchase it. They'd have no problems with you spending your money on it. But then Sony came out with this idea that their counter to this is that they are bringing the PlayStation Now service, which is is that what you have? Is that kind of like your Xbox Live for PlayStation?
No, it's kind of confusing. I think it's called PlayStation Plus,
Okay.
and that allows you to play online. You purchase a game like Call of Duty, you get to be able to play online. Um, the PlayStation Now is another extra cost, and it's even more expensive. It's like $20 a month or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So it's a great idea, but man, is it expensive.
Yeah, it's the cost of that is $20 a month or $45 for 3 months. But what that is supposed to allow you to do is it's supposed to allow you to stream. It's basically using the streaming service Gaikai, which Sony purchased back in 2012, and it's basically using that streaming service to allow you to play games. The difference between the two of these, though, Microsoft is going with new games. Sony is going with old games. So the games that are going to be available on this PlayStation Now service right now, they're all PS3 titles. There are
Yep.
no PlayStation 4 titles on here, unless it was released for both, maybe. Um, right now, they say there's around 400 PS3 titles to choose from, which is great. But and they say that they're going to expand to PlayStation 2 and PlayStation PSP titles. Um, there's a good chance they'll go with PlayStation Vita titles will probably be on there, but there doesn't sound like there's any talks of there being PlayStation 4 titles available for this. Um, so I guess Kip, as a person who did purchase a console, your thoughts on playing these games on a computer instead of on your console, or being able to switch back and forth?
If I already spent my money on the console, I don't see any point of playing them on my PC. If I didn't have the console and I just went totally PC, then I still don't need that service because I'm just gonna, like you, I'm just gonna buy the PC version of the game when it comes out. So to me, I like where this could end up, but right now, I'm not going to spend the money. I'm just not going to. It's another $20 a month for the PlayStation Now. Not going to do it.
Yeah,
It does me no good.
yeah, and I mean, if there were, and I think my big concern with what Sony's doing, with what Microsoft's doing, I don't see a problem with it. If they want to do it, fine. I probably am not going to partake in it, but um, the only games that are really going to be the only games that come out on console that don't come out for computer are probably some of the exclusives. But Sony, I think the bigger thing that Sony's done is they've allowed the cross-platform between PC and the PlayStation 4 games to play together. So if a third-party developer wants to put out a game for both PC and for PlayStation, then you can the multiplayer can allow those guys to play together. I mean, we did that. You and I did that with Rocket League,
Right.
and we were able to do that and played just fine. The only problem we ran into was you guys could all hear yourselves talk, and I couldn't hear or talk back to either of you. But I think that was just because of our own setup, not necessarily any of the game's fault.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal was with that, but we took advantage of that. We may have said some nice things about you,
Yeah, well, and
or may not have. I can't remember which one it was.
I'm gonna go with not, and I'm gonna go with I suck at that game. I love that game. That game's a lot of fun, but
I love that game. I'm terrible.
oh yeah,
Every time
but
I score a goal, it's by accident. Totally accident.
yeah, agreed. But so I don't know. I don't know the I don't really see where they're going with this. I'm wondering if maybe this and this is just me spitballing and throwing some things out there. Um, could this be Microsoft and Sony looking at it going, mm, we don't we don't have enough of the market share with just our console that we need to expand the fan base. We need to diversify our portfolio per se and try to bring back some of the people who've left the consoles because I I don't know. I have no interest in buying a new the next gen console. I just don't. I don't. There are none of the games coming out for those are have been successful enough for me to say yes, that's what I want. And the fact that I can't play the games that I already have bug the hell out of me. Um, so until so I think this Sony kind of has the right idea. I think the $20 price mark um, price is awful, and they need to fix that. I think they if they bundle it in with the PlayStation Plus, and let's say the PlayStation Now is just $20. If you don't have PlayStation Plus, then okay, that might be a little more doable. But to make PlayStation Plus members purchase PlayStation Now to play PlayStation 3 games, that that just seems a slap in the face.
It just seems like it's a PlayStation 3 game for crying out loud. Just give it to us.
Yeah. I mean,
Seriously, just
especially if
make
somebody
it.
already owns it. That would be the thing that would piss me off more than anything is Microsoft does this and says, "Oh, hey, you can you can play your Xbox 360 games on an Xbox One. You just have to buy this service for another $20 a month." And I'll be like, "Screw you! I paid $60 for these games. I'm not paying another $20 to play a game I already own."
Exactly. It's I understand what they're trying to do, and I think what they're I think there's an end game where maybe it will make sense, but right now, to me, it doesn't make sense. I'm just not gonna spend another $20 a month on to play old games.
Yeah,
If I paid $20 a month and any game that came out for the PS4 was just given to me, then hell yeah, I'd do that. Hell, I'd even pay maybe $30 a month, but not for the ability to play an old game.
yeah,
I could go to Target and they have or Best Buy and they have their bin where you can pick games out for $5.
yeah,
If I
yeah.
really wanted to play it that bad, I would just do that.
Well, and those are the games. Those are the games that they've got available right now for $20 a month. You can play these games that'll cost you $5 at Best Buy. Good luck.
Yes. You can play all the bargain bin games your little heart
Yeah.
desires.
Now, I will say the one of the things that have come out with from Sony on this is they have made it available to now use a DualShock 4 controller, which is your PS4 controller. Um, you have to purchase a USB wireless adapter for it for $25, but that will allow you to use your DualShock 4 controller that you already have with your PlayStation 4. You'll be able to use that on your PC, and you'll be able to play these PlayStation games on PlayStation Now. You'll be able to use that DualShock 4 controller, which is good. It makes me wonder if will you be able to use a wired Xbox 360 controller or not. Because I know that's what a lot of PC gamers who like the feel of a controller use. I use one myself. I've got one here in my drawer. A nice little wired Xbox controller, and that's what I use to play all my games with. But I would be curious to see if the PlayStation Now service allowed you to use if it just was looking for a controller input, or if it has to be the DualShock 4. If it has to be the DualShock 4, you're pushing more PC gamers away. PC gamers from my understanding of them, they like the flexibility that PC gaming gives them. If you want to use a controller, you can. If you don't want to use a controller, you can use the keyboard and mouse. Works just fine. If you know, if you want to mod your game and change the UI or change the way the game plays, you can do that on the PC. But if PlayStation is going to make this thing very rigid and very console-like, um, you might lose some PC gamers in that sense.
Uh-oh.
Did I lose you?
Nope.
Oh.
It just felt like you stopped talking abruptly there. I agree with you. People have a tendency to use what's comfortable and don't like to be forced. So if you have a PC game that requires the Shock 4, then that, like you said, it's going to alienate a bunch of people. But if they made it so you had the option, one or the other, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
It would absolutely be perfect. Because I would have to use a controller.
Yeah, and I actually prefer using a controller on a lot of different games. I was a little frustrated with XCOM 2. I purchased that a while back and started playing that one a little bit in my free time, and that one does not have controller support. You have to use a mouse and keyboard. Or actually, the only controller support it has is for the Steam controller, which I don't own, so I don't use. But that kind of bugged me, the fact that I couldn't use my 360 controller um, the way I had in XCOM Enemy Unknown. But I've gotten around that because it's a turn-based strategy game, so using a mouse and keyboard really isn't that big of a deal because it's not a quick twitch type game. It's a so
Yeah, turn-based makes it a little bit easier, but
yeah.
I
If it
don't know.
was some sort of action shooter, I don't know. I could probably get back. It's been a long time since I've used a mouse and keyboard to play anything first-person shooter-ish. So I probably could do it again. I suck at those games anyway, so it doesn't really matter what I use. I'm just gonna die.
Yeah, I played Counter Strike for a while on my laptop, and being able to, um, the quick twitch with the mouse actually is a little bit easier than using the controller.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Last time we were talking about this, I talked about how the keyboard there was too many keys and I'd get messed up. Truthfully, it was back in the day where you controlled with the arrow keys or the ASDF keys,
Oh yeah.
and I would always screw that all up. But a mouse, I can handle that pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I mean it takes some getting used to use a keyboard and mouse, and I don't know, the fact that I play on a laptop. So the keyboard is just a little bit different placed. So some of the keys are just a little bit different size than what you're used to. That trying to do a quick grab of a button where your hand would normally reach to, especially I have big hands, so even typing on my laptop keyboard gets a little bit goofy because my fingers reach a lot farther on this small keyboard compared to the normal size keyboard. But
Yeah, I
real world problems there.
it is real world problems. I don't know if I have big hands, but I fat finger a lot. So,
Yeah,
or I want to go forward and I hit the wrong key and I go sideways, or I hit a key that doesn't do anything. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's just easier for me if I just have a directional controller and
I
just go.
I prefer the controller anyway. So, all right. Well, that is what we have for tonight.
We actually made it through our main topic.
Yeah, we didn't have to push this back in another week. Um, I want to throw out there again for anyone who has some experience with Voice Meter Banana, please contact me, geekvice@gmail.com, so I can maybe get some help in getting this set up right. Um, I don't know what I'm doing, so bear with us. We're trying to get this worked out. I also a little upcoming notes, we have our good friends with Prolific Games that want to come on our show. That is going to be either next week or the week after. We're trying to work that out with them. Bill and John want to come on because they have a Kickstarter coming for a new game, Witch Slapped, which they have. I believe they played it at Gen Con
Gen Con. Yep.
and was reviewed really well. We had print and play copies for us here and tried that out a little bit. It is an interesting game. I would love to see the actual rules for it because we kind of had we had the print and play rules. So
Well, and if there's any opportunity for me to mess up the rules, I will.
yes, yeah, me too. Especially when especially when you start taking these twists of games. You know, it's like, hey, it's the classic game that you know, like Slapjack, but different. Figure it out. It's like, I kept feeling like I enjoyed playing the game. I tried it out a couple times with my boys, and it. The problem is me not knowing how to play it and then trying to teach someone else how to play it, especially when it's kids, makes it a little harder. But it looks like a fun game. Looking forward to seeing what they got coming out with it, and I will be backing that project for them. So look forward to them on one of the future episodes, and we will tell you. That I can tell you right now that they're. If you check the events on Geekvice's Facebook page, again, facebook.com/Geekvice, if you go there in the event section, there is an event for the kickoff of the Kickstarter on October 17th. So go check that out.
Do it. Do it.
So enough of that shenanigans. You can check us out on Geekvice at or geekvice.blogspot.com. You can also check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Geekvice. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow that man at Kib Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. Also, if you're watching this video, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click that subscribe button, like our videos. That way we know people are watching them. Easiest way to get there, if you're listening to us, go check out tiny.cc/Geekvice. That'll take you right to the YouTube channel. You can also now get there through our Facebook page. Over in the left-hand side of our Facebook page is a link to YouTube. It does not take you out of Facebook. So you can click on that link. It'll show all our videos from YouTube. You can watch them right there on our Facebook page. You can like them right there on our Facebook page. And you can subscribe to the YouTube channel right there on the Facebook page. So if you don't like going through YouTube, just go through our Facebook page and you can check out all our videos there. You can see me playing Assassin's Creed Rogue and sucking miserably at it. I got a few more of those that I want to record and get up there. We'll see if I can get through the whole main campaign or not. I don't know. I doubt it because I'm not very far into it already. So
There you go.
we'll see what happens there. I'm also thinking I got XCOM 2 that I might put on the Geekvice gaming page. I've also got maybe some Pillars of Eternity that's been calling my name. I kind of want to play that again.
He would put Dark Souls 3 up there, but all it would be is him yelling a stream of obscenities like the F bomb 500 times.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And actually, what I'm going to look at doing, there's a new game, or not a new game, it's an old game that I really enjoyed playing back in the day on my PC, and that was called Dungeon Siege.
Oh, yeah.
And that is available on Steam today. You can get Dungeon Siege 1, 2, and 3 for $5. Today's the last day to do that. So I'm going to try to go do that now and grab that game. And I might put that on Geekvice Gaming. I don't know if you've got any suggestions, the games you want to see me suck at. Maybe you want to see Kip and I both play Rocket League. Maybe we could do that. Put that up there. Go comment on either this video or go post it on our Facebook page and tell us, hey, you should play this. So we can do that. So
We can. We'll do it poorly, but we could play it.
yeah, exactly. We'll still suck at it either way. But All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching us this week, and we will see you next week. And Kip won't be able to hear this, but I'm going to play our intro video again as our outro, and we also have another little tag at the end. So we will see you next week.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.